New Caitlin Clark interview going viral,
Caitlin Clark just dropped a bombshell in a Chinese interview, and the entire basketball world is spiraling. And no, this wasn't some scripted PR moment. This was real, unexpected, and genuinely game-changing. What she said about China. You're not ready. Before we break it down, drop a comment. Is this China move genius or reckless? Because this moment could shift her entire trajectory. Here's how it went down. Caitlin Clark sat down with a Chinese YouTuber named Taylor Tong, not ESPN, not a major US outlet, a Chinese creator. And that's when everything flipped.
我们在黑暗中重新开始了这个问题。
In China, like people started to notice you when you were in Iowa or either in Indiana Fevers. But when people started to notice you, you already a dominant player, a winner already. But let's go back to the beginning of your basketball journey. Is there any moment you feel like basketball is a little bit challenging for you, or you're born to be a winner, you never feel like that?
That's a great question. Honestly, I feel like there's obviously a lot of challenging moments throughout my career. I feel like I probably always had a lot of natural skill, but I also wanted to get a lot better at it. So I always found ways to challenge myself. So that's probably when I felt the most challenged, is when I would, whether it was a hard workout or a bad game or something like that. I feel like you find ways to challenge yourself within those moments. But I would probably say I always kind of had a natural skill for it and just a knack for basketball, but I also really loved it and wanted to get better at it.
Got you. So mostly you are born to be a winner.
I guess we can say.
And that alone tells you exactly where this is headed. This wasn't some random interviewer. This was a creator who has sat down with Kawhi Leonard, Cooper Flagg, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, elite names, elite access. And they wanted Caitlin Clark. Think about that for a second. The biggest stars in basketball, and Clark is now being placed in that same tier. But here's where it gets crazy. The host didn't just praise her. They called Caitlin Clark the miracle the NCAA gave the WNBA, the hope of women's basketball. And sure, you might think that's just interview hype. But something much bigger is happening beneath the surface. Young boys, yes, boys, are choosing Caitlin Clark as their basketball idol. Not LeBron, not Steph Curry, not Giannis, a WNBA player. That has never.
We talked about the past, we talked about the present. Now let's talk about the future. I think you inspired a lot of girls in China. More and more attentions for women's basketball in China right now. A lot of young girls, they attribute their interest to basketball to you.
That's cool.
So how you feel about that?
That's pretty cool. And obviously China's not a place I've ever been to, but I know I'll be there very soon. And I think that's super exciting. And I think having that type of reach is something that also has an impact on me. Like, you get to inspire so many different people, so many people from different walks of life, but they all love the same thing. They love basketball and they love getting to watch it and become better at it. And that's exactly like kind of what my story was. I always just wanted to be better. I loved watching it. I wanted to put a lot of time into improving my game. So hopefully I'm inspiring a lot of people in China, especially the young boys and girls, to want to really invest a lot of time to be as great as they can be.
In New High's podcast, you mentioned the trip to Italy and Croatia.
Yeah.
I promise the trip to China
will
would be
the best
impressive.
trip ever. All right.
Yeah, it's like
I'm
that.
looking forward to it.
Let that sink in. When has that ever happened? Diana Taurasi is a legend, respected worldwide, one of the greatest to ever touch a basketball. But little boys weren't on playgrounds pretending to be Diana Taurasi. They are pretending to be Caitlin Clark. That's not growth. That's a cultural transformation happening in real time. And here's the part that drives me insane about the WNBA discourse. People still try to put an asterisk next to women's basketball. She's great for a woman. She's good for the WNBA. No, enough. Hoops is hoops. Great basketball is great basketball. NBA, WNBA, EuroLeague, doesn't matter. Clark is getting the Steph Curry effect. Remember 2013 to 2016? Kids everywhere pulling from 30 feet because they wanted to be Steph. That's exactly what's happening with Caitlin Clark. Kids study her game. Kids imitate her game. That's real influence, changing a sport at the roots. And then the interview takes a turn nobody saw coming. They start talking about her impact in China, how girls there are suddenly paying attention, how youth programs are growing, how China's next wave of talent is already building, with their top young star only 22 years old. Then Caitlin Clark drops a bomb. China's not a place I've ever been to, but I know I'll be there very soon. Wait, what?
You've been in WNBA for 2 years, Rookie of the Year,
Mm-hmm.
the captain of the All-Star
Mm-hmm.
team. And so how would you describe the past 2 years?
Man, I think they've first of all gone like really fast. I think I've had a lot of like pinch me moments because like this is the stage I always wanted to be on, and then getting to do it in front of like sold out crowds every single night, whether you're at home or you're on the road, I think is really incredible and probably better than most places. So I think that's really special. And yeah, I think there's a lot of many exciting years.
Listen up, because this is massive. Caitlin Clark isn't just talking about China. She's saying she'll be there very soon. Not, maybe someday. Not, I hope to visit. Very soon. That sounds like flights booked, hotels reserved, a plan already in motion. This isn't speculation. This is strategic. Nike, absolutely part of it. This is organized. Promotional tours, basketball camps, global growth. The specifics aren't public, but the confidence in her voice says it all. Caitlin Clark knows she's more than a player now. She's becoming a global icon. She's not just the face of the WNBA in America. She's positioning herself as the international ambassador for women's basketball. Here's a fun connection. Clark's favorite male player growing up was Jeremy Lin. Look at his biggest impact, Asia. Clark is tracing that exact path, building a global fan base, and it's no coincidence. But the ripple effect? That's where it gets wild. Caitlin's rise isn't just about her. It's raising the profile of the entire WNBA. Players like Aya Wilson, Breanna Stewart, Kelsey Mitchell, Lexi Hull, even Kennedy Carter, have seen their fan bases grow because people tuned in to watch Clark. Once fans are in the door, they discover the rest of the talent. That's how a league grows. And let's be clear, Clark's popularity isn't manufactured. It's not just her story or personality. It's her skill on the court. Who can legitimately guard her? Teams have tried. Referees sometimes allowed excessive physicality, and even then, very few defenses truly stop her. She dominates because she's incredible at basketball. Period. Accessibility plays a role too. WNBA tickets are far cheaper than NBA tickets. Families bring kids to see Clark live, experiencing the game at a formative age. Those kids grow up seeing female athletes as heroes, and that changes culture. Her comments about China show she gets it. She understands global expansion, sponsorship potential, media growth, and the role she plays in all of it. Steph Curry changed how basketball is played, marketed, and consumed. Clark has the same potential for women's basketball, not just on the court, but globally. And here's the kicker. Young boys are choosing Caitlin Clark as their basketball hero. Not LeBron, not Curry, a female athlete. That's cultural disruption in real time. Barriers are breaking, perceptions are shifting, and Clark is leading the charge. This isn't about stats or championships anymore. It's about inspiring everyone who sees themselves in her story. It's about opening markets that could reshape the financial landscape of women's sports. A 22-year-old from Iowa is becoming a global icon in real time. So what do you think? Genius? Or too much, too fast? Drop a comment, hit subscribe, and stay tuned. Because the Caitlin Clark era isn't just changing the WNBA. It's changing basketball itself.